But let's focus in on a corporate voice then and talk about what the impact has been on Apollo hospitals, the traction in the online pharmacy business, and what the outlook is on healthcare spending. Suneeta Reddy, the managing director at Apollo Hospitals, now joins in on the show. Suneeta, great to have you on board. Tell us about the impact of the lockdown, and are things now gradually turning back to normalcy? What can we expect in Q2?
So if you look at the impact of the lockdown, one, people couldn't travel. So, they were encouraged not to do elective surgery. So therefore, our occupancy slipped to 37%. The second impact of the lockdown of COVID was that the cost of treatment for COVID was expensive because of both PPE and the staff cost. So we had to load that on to the treatment of COVID. The third was the fact that some of the states actually capped the treatment charges. But in spite of that, I think we did a tremendous job. We treated 37,000 COVID patients and we did 120,000 tests. So all that shows in our results. We've come out with 1,982 crores of revenue and only a loss of 18 crores of EBITDA. And as we go moving into Q2, like you asked, I think things are looking much, much better. Having lifted the lockdown, we are seeing people come in for elective surgeries, and we are seeing more in terms of OP patient footfalls. So this is reflected in our occupancy. Our July occupancy was 47%. Our August occupancy has moved up to 55%, and September will be at over 60%. So clearly, signs of a pickup and signs that, that we need to redefine our business models more on how we connect with our patients, our consumers. And we did this very effectively through the launch of our digital app, 24/7. So immediately we logged on to 3.5 million users. We connected 3,200 doctors and did about 2,000 teleconsults a day. So yes, I think that a new business model has come of age at Apollo.
Ma'am, for the last few quarters, EBITDA of the company has constantly gone up. Of course, last 2 quarters are an aberration. But once things return to normalcy, do you expect that trajectory to continue?
I think, it'll take a little time, because if you see what will happen for most of this year is that we will continue to have some COVID and we'll continue to have the regular business. So the COVID business is something that is, the ARPOBs are lower and also the average length of stay is longer. So in terms of, we're not really looking at profitability from COVID, but we are looking at contribution to margins. But the regular business will continue to give us margins, and therefore the blended margins might come down. But going forward, I think, this is something that we need to face this year. And I think we need to look at it as what can we do for society, because to say that we can't do COVID would not define Apollo's DNA.
What was the performance of hospital business, pharmacy business, old and new hospitals also, if you could dissect for us?
So pharmacy did very well. Their revenues grew by 21% to 1,279 crores. Their EBITDA grew by 31% to 80 crores. And they now have an EBITDA margin of 6.3%. So yes, pharmacies did very well, and they will continue to grow very well.
In terms of COVID as well, a lot of people had POS among other things, and they were avoiding going to the hospitals. Are things returning to normalcy now?
No, I think there was certainly pent-up demand for our services, which led to higher occupancy. The second thing is that, yes, the complexity and severity of the cases, the acuity is much higher. So people have come late. And but the one thing that we did is we never really closed. So we had admissions, emergency admissions come, which resulted in 30% occupancy. So at Apollo, we were never closed. We were actually open 24/7. What we are seeing now is that post-COVID, we are encouraging people to come back for checkups, for rehabilitation, because COVID has had a devastating effect on many people.
And, you know, with the cost of really operations now going up, how are you managing your costs and, you know, what are the protocols as well that are in place?
We are managing the COVID part very well. And I think, you know, it's proof that we really did not lose too much money in the first quarter. It's proof that we were managing it very well. We've got even better in the second. We will get even better in the second quarter. But the big thing that played in our favor is that the minute, even before COVID started, we had decided to do a structural cost reduction. So we had a saving of 87 crores for the first quarter, and there will be a structural cost reduction of over 15% for the whole year.
In the post-COVID world, as healthcare spending across the globe would tend to increase, you being a leader in the space, how, you know, when people spend more money from their wallet for healthcare spending, how will the sector benefit?
I think the post-COVID world will certainly mean more about looking after your health, as well as expenditure on health for what you know, the regular NCDs. So it will be in three parts. One will be the expenditure on COVID, which is a reality which will probably be with us for some time. The second is the fact that people already have NCDs, and you know, the cardiac, the oncology, the neuro, the ortho, that work is picking up tremendously. The third part of it is the preventive healthcare piece that Apollo has always been passionate about, and that is really where we are going to see tremendous growth in the future.
Well, you know, just a last word on the online pharmacy business. You said you registered much higher number of patients on, you know, the digital pickup. What is the sort of pickup that you're seeing online? What is the traction you're seeing in online pharmacy hospital business?
So when we launched the digital, you know, within a week of the lockdown, we actually registered, just for our digital app, we registered about 15 million users for the risk scan. And this gave us the courage to, you know, to do the full launch of the e-pharmacy. I think the clear advantage that we have is that we have both offline and online. So we have, you know, our pharmacies can serve 40 million people through just their physical presence. And when you add the digital layer to it, very quickly we got 3.5 million users. And this created a huge digital footprint for us. The number of teleconsults we do per day is 2,000. So definitely, you know, it's an offering that we add to the pharmacy. The fact that we do teleconsults, that we're also able to fix outpatient offerings that will connect them to the hospital. So yes, we have offline. The digital is an add-on that will benefit many consumers. And in 6 months, we've really ramped up to close to 5 million consumers. And I don't think any e-pharmacy company was able to do such a fast ramp up. So if you think of the whole year, I think we'll quickly be able to double this.
All right, thanks very much for taking time out, Sangeeta, and giving us a flavor as to how things are shaping up for business. With news that we're at 11,500 on the Nifty and holding out for the broader markets, we'll wind it down on this edition of the show.